We are live, everybody. Welcome to the Manchester is Blue show. Sorry we're late. I'm going to blame Dan. No, definitely my fault. Sorry, everybody. Technical issues from the Brunt household. But I hope everyone's well and doing... We just had another patron come in. Oh, James Taylor. Patreon, everyone, just to let you know, I've just received a message. Patreon basically helps us do this show and be able to afford to run the show because the costings behind everything, all the technology and everything comes with it. It's not a massive cost, but it all adds up. So we just had another one come in. So thank you, James Taylor. I'll be adding your name very soon to that link of people down there alongside Natalie, Paul and everyone else. Thank you so much. But more important than Patreon, more important than me, Dan or Brian, it's the Manchester Derby this weekend, guys. It's the Manchester Derby and I'm so excited. I hate Derby Day with an absolute passion. If I could find a darkened room with a corner and a telly and watch it that way, I would, but I won't be able to. And I'm absolutely buzzing for it. I'm really looking forward to it, which tells me we're going to get spanked, which really worries me a little bit because I was thinking that a couple of years ago. Oh, I don't know how I feel about it. Brian, what's your thoughts coming into the game, pal?
I used to be like that, and then you kind of become confident and a little bit more relaxed. Like I was like you years ago. Like I'd happily just, if I could, just go to sleep and wake up at the full-time whistle and see how we put on underneath peak night. But now it's like, I don't think it's anything to worry about, really. It's just another game. You know what I mean? I said to take it as another game for me. Don't be around the bush, get the job done, and...
Get in, get it sorted. What do you reckon, Dan? How are we going to get on, pal?
Got the booze ready. I've got the cheering and end game celebrations ready. We're going to absolutely batter the sods.
Oh.
I'm not one of these old type blues. We're going to go in there and we're going to give them a good time, i.e. we're going to knock the 7 shades out of them.
Oh,
come on, City!
That's the confidence I love. I love that confidence when you do that, Dan. That's absolutely amazing. Are we going to go put score predictions later then? Should we do score predictions in a bit?
Oh, God, yeah.
Right. Okay, so what we need to do tonight, we need to talk about who's in defence, who's in midfield, who's up front. We know who's in net already. Is the Barnsley Beckenbauer going to be at centre-back alongside Diaz? Because I think Diaz is boxed off into already. So the question out there to everyone on Facebook is, who's your defence? Everyone on YouTube, who's your defence? What are you thinking, lads? What are we thinking? Because this is a huge game. Do you lads remember the seasons when City used to play United and City were mediocre, mid-table, happy if we stayed up, and if we got a win in the Derby Day, that was a good season for us? I don't know if you two are old enough to remember those days, but for me...
I had a few.
You had a few, honestly. And nowadays, it's like, actually, we can beat them. We can beat them heavily if we played to our best. I have every confidence, if City played to their maximum ability this weekend, we can absolutely hammer them. I have absolutely no doubts about that, whatever in my mind. It just depends what City team's going to show up. What are you thinking, Dan? Tell me all the positive news, mate. I need to absorb your positivity today.
Well, it's all positives, really, isn't it? We know that we'll have 2 days naturally on average to prepare for a weekend fixture, whereas I think United now play on Thursdays, if I'm correct. So they're already emotions are already shot for that. You know, they're going to be looking for that win to get a bit of bounce back. But I don't see anything other than a City win. We've got the momentum now. We're starting to find form, and I mean, if Riyad Mahrez is playing well, then you know City are starting to find form.
Were you having a little dig at United there, playing on a Thursday night?
Would I ever? Are they actually playing on Thursday night? What caused that? Did they lose in Europa Champions League?
Oh, you sound like a bit of red from years ago, Dan. You need to be careful, mate. That could bite you in the arse, that pal.
I don't mind. I'm living it up while I can. Either way, we're going to get a win at the weekend, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Spirit. Lee Wills, how we doing, pal?
Yeah, not bad. Thanks, mate. Yourself?
I've been told by a little birdie you've got a fantastic singing voice.
Sorry, mate. I dropped you in it.
You're breaking up, mate.
So, I want a rendition live now to the 109,000 people that follow our Facebook group. Oh, listen, are you as excited as I am for this weekend's game?
I can't wait. I've got a real good feeling about this weekend.
Oh, you're another one. Everyone's got good feelings about this weekend. You're killing me in a little way. What are you thinking?
We're gonna concede, aren't we? We always do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I reckon 4-2. 4-2 win.
4-2. Do you think we'll concede 2? I think our defence is looking really strong at the minute.
It is, but we seem to fall apart, don't we, when it matters most still. But I don't know. I'll be really happy with a clean sheet, but whether it happens or not.
Oh, right.
You just mentioned then about the fact that you're a bit nervous about it. But, like, do you get nervous about many games? You know, is there any other games out there that you're nervous about? Like
Me?
Liverpool? Yeah.
Nearly everyone.
I don't really. Just a big one. The Liverpool game I get nervous for. When we get to like the last day of the Champions League, I get nervous for them because I want us to do well.
Is it because you're afraid we're going to get beat, or is it because you're afraid, like, I mean, we're more than better. We're probably as good as any other team that's out there. So it's not like we're going into a game where we're not playing well. Or
do you know what? I think you're right. I think I'm nervous about losing. I think I'm nervous about losing and checking my phone at full time to getting all the messages from the United fans that have climbed out from underneath their rocks from this season. Part of, do you know what? Part of me wants United to win, so Solskjaer stays in the job for another 6 months. No, I'm joking. I don't want us to lose.
I don't think he's going to lose his job over that. But I was not saying that is because I just don't. I'm not. It's not. You meant these two guys were well overconfident, but my days of being overconfident are just now being a City fan. That's just the way it is. We are a really, really strong team, and we are going into any game. I would say probably bar Liverpool. We're going into the game as a favourite right now. So the confidence comes with how good we are on the football pitch.
Got to be, haven't we?
Yeah.
Got to be confident going into this. I'm just adding James Taylor's name to our list of patrons. Give me 10 seconds, guys. Thank you very much, James. That's been added. Your name will be down there in lights anytime now. I'm not worried. I just don't like losing. I'm a winner. At anything I do, I love to win. And I love City winning. And I hate City losing to United. And I think that's where the nerves have always stemmed from. Because I still have flashbacks of Paul Scholes' last-minute goal, Michael Owen last-minute goal, Van Persie last-minute goal. And it's just like, the bastards. They have this knack of just sticking the knife in, don't they? I don't know what it is.
Does that come about with our team being more successful, or were you like that 15 years ago when we were pasting really every week?
I've always been like this. I've always been really, yeah. It's just, yeah. Since I went to school in Wythenshawe, 1,800, 2,000 kids at St Paul's, and for me, you know, there's probably about 10, 15 City fans that actually put their name up and go, actually, yeah, I'm a City fan. And everyone else was a United fan because obviously they were great and glory hunting and all the rest of it. And I've always been for a bit of stick for it's character. My dad always said to me, it's character building being a City fan, and it absolutely is. And that stems from being a fan since the 80s. And I wouldn't have it any other way. But I just get super excited. I'm absolutely buzzing now. You can probably tell. I don't drink coffee. I'm just high on this game this weekend. But I guarantee you one thing: when I wake up at 6:30 on Saturday morning, I'll be absolutely bricking myself. Oh, and it's 5:30 kickoff as well. I've got a whole day to think about it. Why is it not a 12:30 kickoff to get it done with?
Do you know what? I look forward to the game all week, all day. The second that kicks off, I'm a bag of nerves.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I don't want to be here now. I don't want to watch it, but I can't not watch it.
It's not like it's at Old Trafford, isn't it? So City's not got a bad record at Old Trafford, to be fair. So it's a shame there's no fans in there. But do you think the fans will make a massive difference to the game this weekend?
I think it's had an effect on all the games anyway, hasn't it? I think you haven't got that home advantage that you did have before. Obviously, you know, minus travelling if it's a game you're travelling for. But the home advantage just isn't there anymore, I don't think, with the lack of fans. So, especially when it's a bit far out of Manchester, they've got to travel. But, you know, it is what it is. So I think we'll be all right.
Right, so and what I'm doing throughout this conversation, we're going to sort out our team one bit at a time, okay? So we know who's in net, don't we? Obviously. Scott Carson, obviously in net, given, obviously. We'll sort out our defence first. So Cole Brennan, hiya Paul, another friend of the show. Walker, Stones, Diaz, Mendy. James Taylor, how you doing, James? Stones, Diaz, Walker, Ake. Ake played very well the other night, didn't he?
My man of the match.
Yeah, he was your man of the match, wasn't he? What's everyone else thinking for defence? Let us know. Brian, what are you thinking defence-wise, pal?
I think from right-hand side to the left side centre-back sorts itself out at the moment. So you're obviously going with Walker, Diaz, Stones. And I think the left-back all depends on who is available for United to put on the right wing. Oh, let's be honest. They're not great players, but they've got some pace. So I mean, they've got Daniel James. He's not likely to start, really, is he? He's not been playing much recently. So you think on the right hand side, they haven't got much to offer in terms of other than Mason Greenwood. So then you're thinking, what sort of player is Mason Greenwood? He's not somebody that runs on the outside. He's somebody that likes to come inside. When he likes to come inside and hit the edge of that box and get into the corners and, in the corner of the penalty area to get shots in. So I think to combat their only attacking winger from that side of the pitch, you have to have somebody with a bit of pace. And you have to have somebody who can go up and down all day. And I think that is Cancelo. To have that. And he also, coming inside on his right foot, he's not making tackles that he's not used to making as a right back anyway. Having somebody like that who would be willing to track Greenwood all day long, I think that's, for me, is how Cancelo starts at left back for the weekend.
I agree with you, and I agree. I can't disagree with you more. For me, Cancelo, Stones, Diaz, Walker. Dan, what are you thinking, pal?
I have to completely agree with that, and I think Pep's sort of given that away with the fact that he started Walker in midweek rather than Cancelo as right back and maybe play Mendy or Zinchenko. Give Cancelo a rest to fill in that left back position because Walker's had a couple of game out now, hasn't he? So I think Pep's given it away for me.
There's a few
that game.
There's a few people. Michael Andy Wasti is going for Walker, Diaz, Laporte, or Laporte as he calls him, obviously in first name terms. And Ake, there's a lot of shout out for Ake over Cancelo tonight. I just can't see it. I think Pep trusts Cancelo more. I think Cancelo's a better footballer than Ake for starters. Does everyone else agree with that?
Yeah. Not taking anything away from Ake, he was man of the match for me.
No, absolutely,
but he's just come back from injury, and throwing him in at the deep end at the Swamp is probably going to be a bit too much for him. Not saying he couldn't do it. I'd just rather have a proper fullback, albeit out of position, Cancelo in that role.
Is there any rumours knocking about that Gundogan's injured at the moment?
Oh, I've not heard that.
No, someone's just mentioned it. Ubrin, Mitty Mingy. Hope you're doing well, Ubrin. Yeah, no, I've not heard any rumours about Ilkay being injured. I don't think that would affect how we play because Fernandinho would slot in there in that position, wouldn't he, alongside Rodri? You'd think so anyway. Paul Glennon coming on to midfield shortly, my friend. Lee, what's your how's this game gonna pan out for you from a defensive point of view? Because are we expecting United just to throw everything at us, or are they going to go Jose park the bus and hit us on the counter?
I'm hoping our defence get bored after like 40 minutes because they haven't been tested. But I don't know. I know it's against Jose's normal way, but I think he'll be attacking. So I think we've got to put the best forward we've got out, and I agree with the rest of you. I don't think you can see much further change in what you said. So I don't know. It's a hard one because, like I say, it's how do they play? Are they going to park the bus and catch on the counter, or? But yeah, I'm not really sure what he's going to do, to be honest.
Paul Glennon said Gundogan's having a check-up this week before the games. We may have got a little knock. Lorraine Raxor, Lorraine, how you doing? How's Derek? Hope you well. Derek thinks City are going to beat United 3-0. That's the spirit. Yeah, so Paul Glennon said that's why Ilkay came off at half-time, because he had a brief knock. So that could be interesting. That could affect... I don't think that affects the players that play in defence, will it? Should we move on to midfield and have a bit more chat about that then? We'll go defensive midfield, because straight away I'm thinking Rodri and Gundo. But with Gundo having a bit of a knock, there's question marks there now. What's your thoughts, Dan?
Well, I think Rodri's a dead cert, being left out midweek.
Yeah.
No reason he shouldn't be. I think the fact that Guardiola took Gundogan off at half-time, even if there was a slight chance of an injury, is maybe, again, with the Cancelo idea that he's given that position away that he wants Gundogan from in there, because he would have probably made Gundogan play on a little bit to see if he could run off whatever knock he might have picked up or something like that, because I think it's the prime game for Ilkay Gundogan to play in.
Yeah.
Someone to link up that defensive play to the attacking play, in which Rodri can't do. But at the same time, I can also see if that is true, Fernandinho coming in and Rodri being a bit more attackive. When Fernandinho and Rodri have played, Rodri's been more the attacking defensive player.
It doesn't worry me, Fernandinho coming in at all. And I know he's getting on a bit, legs, etc., etc., etc. But some days, we need an old head hold head to control the game and move us forward.
I don't think you can see the decline in Fernandinho really. I don't think it's noticeable, is it? So it's not like his age is really showing. He's making bad tackles. He's not getting back. He's just the same player he has been for the last 5 years for me.
Yeah, I agree. I'd happily see him step in.
So let's think about this. We got midfield. We got Rodri, Brian. Who else are you thinking? So we'll go 4-3-3 traditional.
We spoke the other day, didn't we? And we talked about how we would probably might try and get Foden in his team, and we came to the conclusion he's just not going to get in the starting 11.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if Gundogan doesn't play, that for me rules out the three that we had, which was De Bruyne, Rodri, and Gundogan in that little pivoting free midfielder. That would be, if Gundogan's fit, that would be my starting midfield. But if Gundogan misses out, I think he'll put Bernardo Silva in there just for energy and the balance of having a left-footed player on that side of the pitch. You know, you've got your De Bruyne right hand side of Rodri, and then Bernardo on that side. And you'd like to think that with those three players, with how good they are on the ball, you're not going to be giving many passes away.
So if we've got KDB, Rodri, and Gundo, if Gundo's out, are we all agreeing that Bernardo steps into the breach there for the energy? Dan, what are you thinking, pal? Would you have anyone else? Would you play a different formation?
I think he would play Dino. Definitely not Foden. Foden for me was City's worst player last night. Not that he was bad, just nothing was coming off for him. Bernardo Silva didn't exactly set the world alight, and he did, for the first time for me, look a little bit shattered. And of course, he played the full game. So I'd probably put Fernandinho in there, because United are going to come gun-ho at us. So somebody's going to have to link up and stop that. Is it Bruno Fernandes, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to come on to him in a minute.
He's a little sod in that midfield, so I think having two defensive lads to contain him a little bit will hopefully allow KDB to push further up the pitch and stay properly central. So for me, it'll be Rodri Fernandinho if Gundo doesn't start.
You've mentioned Fernandes, so I'll come on to that topic now. I was going to mention this. What's your thoughts of just having Bernardo there for the energy, the pace, the skill, just to man mark Fernandes? Purely, his job is to get the ball off him and pass it and do what he does, or take the ball with a roll. I think we need to be man marking him on Saturday. 5:30 Saturday. He's just too dangerous for me. Oh, if we get a penalty, we're knackered, obviously. But Lee, what's your thoughts on man marking one of United players, or do you think we just stick to our own game, which could involve man marking, granted?
Yeah, I think we should with him, especially because, like I say, he's on fire for them at the minute, and unfortunately, but yeah, I say stick someone on him. Like I say, see a penalty situation that's going to get the old nerves tingling, I think, because how many they had now?
Oh.
I see the stats the other day. It's ridiculous how many penalties they've had this season. And like, they're going down. That's why we've got to be careful in defence as well. Going back to that,
yeah,
because especially if we're panicking, the amount of times we do stupid things and little nip, little knot, you know. But yeah, say I'd man mark him the whole game, wear him out. Like I say, the Bernardo Silva's a good shout, because like I say, if he gets the ball off him, he'll run rings around him, I think. So yeah, naffer him out.
Well, as we stand at the moment, the top scorers for United is Bruno Fernandes on 11 goals. He's got 6 assists. Marcus Rashford, 10 goals, 4 assists. And then Greenwood, 3 goals, 2 assists. So Fernandes and Rashford are the key men for United if they're gonna trouble us goal wise. I just think Fernandes is having a fantastic season. He's doing really well. I think we need to be marking him out the game, and I think putting a player with energy in there to mark him won't be such a bad idea. What's your thoughts on that, Dan?
I can't see. I completely understand the sentiment, and it has worked a lot in the past, especially that Liverpool game. Was it last year? Bernardo Silva, no, year before. Bernardo Silva was the main reason we won that game, just because of his sheer energy in that midfield, linking up a defensive and attacking display, but also his defending and just getting in the way. Just something about United worry me in terms of their technical ability. You know, they're not world class, they're nowhere near world class, but I don't know whether it's luck, just something clicks for them in their midfield. I just think having 2 defensive midfielders just to solidify in front of that back 4 and allowing KDB to get further up the pitch, I think that will work better for us.
Would you not rather have 2 really good attacking midfielders and just dominate possession and have that.
The only
destroying a defence, because it is a weak defence.
I would, but it's just a way of, if we have two attacking midfielders and leave Rodri, we have to admit Rodri's going to start. I think he's a dead cert in that midfield.
Yeah.
But that worries me, just having Rodri alone, because if he's more than likely going to be the one man marking Bruno Fernandes. That allows the wingers to come flying round, and you know what Pep's like. He likes Walker further up the pitch. He'll have whoever's left back further up the pitch. There's acres of space there. And if Rodri's brought out of position, he does get caught out a lot in defensive midfield. If we've got no one else helping that back two, they're going to be scattered. They're going to be worried. They're going to have the wingers coming in left, right, and centre. I just think having two holding mids in front, if one misses, the other one can fill in, and vice versa. And I just think it will work better technically, but time will tell.
This is so hard, and and if it's hard for us, it's definitely going to be hard for Ollie. And
mine is the unpopular opinion of that, though. I think a lot more people choose Bernardo Silva. It's just something for me that I think Fernandinho will set in there. So out of everybody, I think everyone would prefer Bernardo Silva in there. Should make it easy for you.
it's so hard, isn't it, to try and second guess what Pep's going to do at the best of times. But when there's a potential knock there, I think Gundo will be fine. I think it's all smoke and mirrors at the minute. I think if it's a little knock, take him off precaution with a view to playing him this weekend. I'm sure he'll play, and I think I'd be extremely surprised if that's not the centre three that we play as well. Let's move on to forwards. This is a bit of a bone of contention. Excuse me 2 seconds. Okay. 3 forwards. James Taylor, what are you thinking, pal? Paul Glennon, I know you put yours on before. Show it to us again, pal. Who are you thinking? Sergio's not playing. Pep said that. So, are we all agreeing with Jesus up front? Or would you give Torres a chance?
I think he'll stick Jesus up front. Jesus up front, then he'll probably stick Sterling and Mahrez in.
Yeah. Brian, we spoke about this the other day, didn't we? We tried to crowbar Phil Foden into this team.
We're saying, like, everybody says Phil Foden should start. He's got to play this, that, and the other, and you just on paper you can't get him in. Everyone in the heart wants him to start, but on paper, at the moment, he just isn't good enough to be in that starting front three for us.
It's one of them with him, though, isn't it? It's like, you think being a City fan, he's going to be properly up for that derby if he plays. But at the same time, I think he's got a bit of a hot head. So he's the one that will get sent off, or if he's, because the passion's obviously there because he's a fan, he could be a risk. But like I say, if he played to his full potential, I don't know, like you say, your heart says you'd love him to start, but your head's like,
I think he's a victim of not being good enough in one position to hold it down. So you can never really say, oh, he scored 12 goals in 17 games here as a left winger, you've got to start him. He's not really, he comes on and he might play one game brilliantly, but he's not ever cemented one position down. Like, you thought he might have been that inside left midfielder, David Silva, but he hasn't really even been given a chance there.
Just want to give you some stats here. Sterling's got 6 goals and 4 assists in 17 games with a goal conversion rate of 20%. Ferran Torres has got 6 goals, 2 assists in 14 games and 27% goal conversion. Ferran Torres at the moment is above Sterling in relation to chances converted, but I'd still rather have Sterling play. I think he's a fantastically dynamic threat to them. Foden's on 4 goals, 3 assists, played 15 goals. Mahrez 4 goals, 1 assist. Jesus 3 goals, 1 assist. Kevin De Bruyne 2 goals, 10 assists. Kevin's playing, isn't he, on Saturday? What a player he is! What a player!
Who?
I feel more confident talking through the team. On paper, it's a strong team. I don't know why. I'll get to match day, I'll be absolutely bricking it. I suppose that's what you said before, Brian, isn't it? It's the mentality of the losing side of it, losing to United as the biggest thing. We play them twice in one season. This happens to be twice in a season. And I hate playing them in the cups as well.
You could argue we're probably close to having our strongest team out of the week in in this game. Everyone knows Aguero on paper is the main striker, but at the minute, it's a toss-up whether or not Jesus is on that catching up with it. You know, they're a bit more equal than ever.
Yeah.
So I mean, that could be quite consensus whether or not you think. I mean, Aguero is never ever going to be. He's never ever going to be displaced by anything he's ever done, or nobody's ever going to overtake him in terms of a stature. But I think now, where Jesus is, he's more comfortable. If you look at his stats, his goal involvement, his goal to game ratios are getting close to what Aguero's was. So, his goal per games and as well as 111 minutes a goal or something strange like that. Whereas he's definitely involved and stuff. So they get closer and closer. So I think we're at the point now where we have our strongest team available.
This is our 183rd derby. Okay, so United have won 76, we've drawn 52, and City have won 54. We need to start climbing this back, lads. It's better reading than it was 15 years ago. This is very true. This agreed. With bells on. What's the best semi-final you guys have watched? The best semi-final, sorry, for me was obviously the United one. What's the best derby match you've watched? Semi-final for me, I think. Saying that the Vincent Kompany 1-0 header, that was a belting derby day as well. What about you guys?
One of my all-time favourites. Obviously, the sixth one was incredible, but the Neville assist to Gota.
Yes, the last derby at Main Road, 3-1.
Last one, 3-1 win, yeah. And just to see his face when he cocked up.
He still haunts him that as well. You can tell, can't you, when he talks about it? It still haunts Gary Neville. That it really does get to him.
It's a thing of beauty.
What about you, Dan? What's the best derby you've seen?
I remember the game. I can never remember the score. I'm sure it's 4-2 or 3-1 or one of the two. It was probably a completely different scoreline, but it's the one where Bellamy scored that absolute worldie.
4-2.
And I just
4-3.
4-3.
I think that
was the Michael Owen.
Oh,
was that the Michael Owen game?
That was the Michael Owen last-minute goal.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah.
I must be thinking of another one then.
And that goal you're talking about is where Rio Ferdinand tried being a smart ass and chipping it over, didn't he?
Yeah.
The ball and left it down right wing, left wing cutting side, and just ripped one right.
What a goal that was, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, I'm changing my mind. Fuck it, 6-1. I thought I could have sworn we won that one 4-2 or so. Have we won a United derby 4-2 at some point in recent times? Or is that just, am I making that up?
I'll have to go through. It wouldn't surprise me. We've put a few past him in the last 10 years or so, haven't we? So there'll be one there somewhere, I'm sure. Oh, it's nice to say that. I really hope we win this weekend. I really hope we win massively. I want to see Aguero play as well.
We lost 4-2 in 2015.
No, we won. We won.
Mine is bit before like I think it was like 2007, was it? Maybe when we won 4-1 and Sean Wright-Phillips scored that goal down the wing.
Yes,
that might be who I'm thinking of and got mixed up.
That was the era where we weren't very good.
Was that when Trevor Sinclair scored and took his shirt off? Was that one? John Macken.
Robbie Fowler scored. John Macken.
Yeah.
Because Sean Wright-Phillips went down the wing and scored from like.
I'm sure that's the one.
Where it used to be, and I was like, that is amazing. And it's at the time when we weren't very good.
Because we thought it was going out on the byline, didn't you? Thought it was out, and he just kept running and just absolutely smacked it and did a Peter Crouch celebration at the end. Yeah, it's a great goal. That I love Sean Wright-Phillips.
Our very own Dan Halifax talked to him yesterday, or the day before, didn't he?
He did. Dan Halifax had the opportunity to talk to Sean Wright the other day, so he'll be coming on the show at some point to tell us all about that. But that was a fantastic one. That was. What are we expecting then from United? Are we expecting them to come and... I've spoke to several United fans in the last couple of days, and they are all expecting to get absolutely battered. They're genuinely worried about what's going to happen this game, which worries me. What do you think's their game plan coming into this game?
I said, do you think the result really matters to them?
Hey?
Do you think the result really matters to them now?
Yeah.
I mean... They can't really win out of it, can they? They might get 3 points, but at the end of the day, what's that really done? It's just masked their problems massively.
They have got massive
pride in it. It's like back in the day when we'd play them. It was the other way around when we were crap.
If they end up losing 4-5, it was expected. Ollie out. If it's a close game, 1-0, 2-1, we gave them a game, but something's still not right. If it's a draw, then to them it's like, well, we got a point, but it's still not enough. And if they win, it's like, well, we might have won, but what happened last week? Well, there's nothing really. They're not really going to ever really get anything out of this other than, maybe a couple of hours bragging rights if they were to get anything out of the game. Because their problems are just going to keep seeping through.
It's great, isn't it? Seeing United
I suppose it's a bit like 15 years ago, but the other way around, isn't it? Like we knew beating United.
We knew that's the thing. They've never been prepared for not being the best. That's why it hurts so much for them. Whereas you see, your teams, because they used to laugh at Liverpool, didn't they? Everyone laughed at Liverpool. Look at Liverpool. They're not won anything for 35 years or whatever it was. And every season it went to 30 or 31. It was a bigger and bigger and bigger problem until the fact that they are winning now. And now United are in that decline of no wins, nothing to talk about really. The odd cup here and there.
It'd be nice for us 35 years.
So United won the last game, didn't they? 2-0. That's when Edison passed the ball to, was it McTominay?
Yeah.
That was painful. That was horrible to watch. We can't. The players need to be reminded of that. Pep Guardiola should be having that game on repeat in the changing room, the canteen. Just get those players absolutely pumped and ready for this game to bring it on. If we're going to have a performance and we're going to spank a team, I hope it's this lot this weekend.
There's one player that really needs to step up his game, and he will be found out if he doesn't change it slightly, and that is Edison. This is probably the worst game for Edison in his style of play. How far he comes out. United have got pacey wingers. They've got a clinical finisher in Bruno Fernandes. If he comes out far of his goal, he's going to be found out a little bit.
Yeah, it's if he starts coming out for silly balls over the top where just let one of the defenders run through it and play it back. So if he comes out and thinks he's some sort of hero running down the wing again.
Yeah. It's like that John Stones one a couple of games ago. When he started having a go at John Stones, it wasn't John Stones. John Stones did absolutely brilliantly to read where Edison should have been, to play that back pass. And Edison, I said it.
You think he's rattled? I think Edison's rattled a bit.
I think he's panicking a little bit more now that Stefan's come in. Obviously he's not world class Stefan, but he is USA's number one. You do have to sort of respect that at the end of the day. And history can be written once again. We saw what happened with Joe Hart being dropped, and he came back a much better player. I think, depending on the way Guardiola plans on it, Stefan could easily have a chance because I know he didn't really have much to go against, but he had a decent game against Marseille. And there was a long-range shot in which he was quite out far of the goal, but he read it and he got back and caught it calmly, It's. I don't think Edison's place is threatened, so to speak, but he has got one eye over his shoulder, I think.
I think he's become a little bit complacent. I just think he's not necessarily
the big I am.
I think he's just like made a few little silly mistakes. Over the last 18 months at least. And now he's like, I think he's just hell-bent on being the same player all the time when really he should be just, okay, let's just relax a little bit. There's no need to come screaming out where, I don't need to be taking on their right winger for the ball. We'll just make sure I'm in my 6-yard box and I can receive the ball. And he's never going to lose the ball inside the penalty area. No. He only ever seems to make a mistake when he's like being something a goalkeeper shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the same thing happened with Joe Hart, didn't it? Like, he got a bit too complacent and no one was there challenging him, so he relaxed a bit and started making mistakes. And so I think he went down the same sort of route, didn't he, Joe Hart? And then, get to a comfy position, not getting challenged for it. You think, well, you get a bit sloppy, didn't you? So
I think that's why you have to give a bit of credit to the backup keepers we've had over the years. Like Bravo was, he might not have been the best keeper when he played for City, but you can guarantee in training he was on it. Mm-hmm. And he is a mature international goalkeeper who's won an awful lot. So having somebody like him pressurising your number one, making sure he's on the ball, making sure he takes, having somebody like that as a senior goalkeeper in your team, I think that goes quite under the radar a bit, and we haven't got that now. We've got Scott Carson, but you put Scott Carson and Bravo on the same page, they might have a lot of games as comparisons, but there's certainly no skill comparison. And
no,
it's going to take something monumentally bad for Edison to lose his position, though, isn't it? It's going to have to take a massive couple of consistent like De Gea type clangers to drop him. I don't know. I just don't. Dan, do you think Stefan's got the possible chance of being our number one? And if he has, that surely involves Edison leaving.
I don't think he'd get the running as gaming, game out, gaming, game out, gaming type run. I think there is the possibility that Ederson could be dropped for a couple of games in terms of the Premier League fixtures against lower opposition, whoever that might be, like United. I just can't see him being a number one for a few seasons, Stefan. He's got it in his locker to be a good goalkeeper, but in terms of what Pep's after, he's not the style of goalkeeper that he likes, but nonetheless a great shot stopper, which in the end, that's all a goalkeeper really needs to be. But I haven't seen enough of him in City colours to make up my mind. He was good for Frankfurt, I think it was, wasn't it? He was on loan at Dusseldorf, whichever one. I always get them two mixed up. But in terms of City, I need to see him in more cup games to read him a bit more.
I think he's definitely a City group signing, isn't he?
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
One for the group rather than straight for City's first squad.
Yeah, oh, but he won't be here for the next 5 years.
He's probably surprised quite a bit. If those that watch him and knows that I've invested in him to say actually he might actually have a crack at this, or give him in and out of the first team. But I don't think long term he would be good enough as a goalkeeper for us.
No.
And that's only because we've had a taste of what Ederson's like, and Ederson is unbelievable. I think if we went a long period without him in goal, we would notice how much we miss him in terms of his distribution. Goalkeepers make saves all day long, but you can't get the passing range that Ederson's got from anywhere else. I don't think there's another goalkeeper in the world like Ederson with the passing range.
It's funny because when you're on Twitter, you see all these merges of videos that people have done about players and skill videos and stuff like that. They're all a couple of minutes long, and there's Ederson with his videos that are a couple of minutes long of him doing pingers across the pitch, down the pitch to players' feet. So it's just like I genuinely don't think there's another goalkeeper in the world that can do what Ederson does, and Pep loves it, so he just won't drop him. I think he loves him too much. I'd love to see what Ederson would be like in the Brazil squad consistently. I'd like him to get the opportunity for his club and country at the same time, and see if that helps raise his game a bit. They don't
play like us though, do they? They don't play the sort of football like we do.
True. Yeah, it's true.
They just have Alisson in net, and Alisson in net is an absolute unit. He's a shot stopper in Alisson, and he's actually good on the ball, so he's got more in terms of shot stopping than Ederson has, which I think what's giving him the nod internationally.
Yeah.
Like Brazil, you don't need your goalkeeper to be knocking 50-yard balls. You expect that of every single outfield player.
United have won the last 4 games on the bounce in the league. They're on 19 points, played 10. City played 10 on 18 points. Just be nice to jump over
them. Again.
Just be nice to... You got it, pal?
They'll have to start that again after they played City.
I hope so. Right, well, I'm feeling better. I've calmed myself down a little bit from the start of this. I'm feeling confident. I'm not going to give her predictions. So, Lee, I'm going to start with you, pal.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with 4-2.
4-2, sticking with that. Who are you thinking for goal scorers?
Sterling. I think Aguero will come on in the second half. I think he'll get one. Torres, and then any one of the defenders of the bullet header.
Oh, Diaz with a salmon-like leap. I really want Aguero to be that player that United used to have against City, where they'd always just pop up and score. I want Aguero to do that this weekend. I'd love him to bag one. Brian, what are you thinking, pal? Predictions?
I'm 3 for 3 at the moment on this show. I had the last 3 results right, and the last score was right. So
come on.
Lottery numbers, pal.
I'm gonna say, given how comfortable I think we'll be on the ball, and how much Pep will put into making sure we don't concede many chances, I can see this just being a really comfortable 2-0. They'll have a couple of chances, but I just think we'll smother them out, really.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 2-0. I think Mahrez and Jesus. I think it'll probably be 2-0 after 10 minutes. And it'll probably stay like that.
Oh, do you know, I get it. Do you get more nervous when we take the lead?
No.
Yeah, if it's early, I do.
If we take the lead early, I'll be more nervous than when I was before kick-off.
I'm the opposite. I get more nervous if we concede in the first 10 minutes, because you know that they're going to be defending for another 80 minutes, and it's okay. It's just going to be like, I don't know if anybody plays Football Manager, but the old Football Manager style cliche where you can absolutely batter a team and they have one shot and win. And we've definitely been on the end of that quite a lot of times.
Yeah, but with Football Manager, you could just turn it off and start again, couldn't you? Can you still do that with Football Manager? Can you get away with that still? Can you still buy other teams in Football Manager and buy your player for like £200 million? Can you still cheat in Football Manager? I might have to start playing it again. That's the only reason I liked it.
Made it even easy now. You can buy an editing tool, so you don't have to go take over another team. You can just give yourself money.
Even better. Dan, predictions.
5-0.
Oh.
5-0. Sterling hat-trick. One from Ferran Torres and one from Gabriel Jesus.
Did you say Sterling hat-trick then?
Sterling hat-trick. I think Sterling's going to turn up.
Well,
I'll take that. If I was offered it now.
honestly, Sterling at the minute. It's got 6 goals in 17 games, so that would take it to 9 goals in 18. He's not doing too bad. We need Sterling to kick on this year. If we need a game where we need Sterling to turn up, it's this game this weekend. I really hope he does.
Because he's been in Wan-Bissaka's pocket for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So he owes something back in that direction, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
And Wan-Bissaka's not been that sound this year so far for me. He's been quite unpleasant.
I've got one question for you. Is what's the minimum you can expect from this game from us? Like, what would be the? I'll take that.
A win.
A win's got to be a minimum. 1-0 win.
Just the 3 points then.
Yeah, just a 3 point. We've got to win. That's the absolute bare minimum.
Second is an absolute spanking.
Do you know what I expect? I expect us not to concede. I think our defence has done so well recently. I think if we conceded, I'd be a bit upset.
We're on 5 clean sheets in a row now.
I think so.
All day,
Excuse me, I'm allergic to talking to United. Talking about it. I'd be really disappointed if we concede. We have the capacity to win, and I'm going to leave that as my prediction. Not giving anything away there. Tough one, isn't it? Dan, are you doing the commentary on Saturday night?
I will be, absolutely.
Right, well, I'm going to love you and leave you now, lads. Thank you very much for joining us. Has anyone else got anything to add before we go?
Just come on, City.
Oh, come on, City.
Please.
Come on, Blues. I don't ask for a lot of you, but if you turn United over on Saturday, I will still love you just as much as I do now. Right, boys, thank you for joining me. We'll speak to you very soon.
Give us a Blue Moon rendition, please, Lee.
Come on, Lee. 1.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own.
Oh, it's the Manchester Elvis. It's the Manchester Elvis.
Sorry, I get carried away. Come on, City.
Come on, boys. See you later, everyone. Thank you for watching, and we'll speak to you soon.
Take care, boys.
Cheers, guys. Have a good night.
Take care.